welcome back to another season of Norwich Theatre Talks. I'm delighted to say that we've been recommissioned for another set of episodes this year, and we hope to bring you some amazing chats with some incredible artists across the year. We're starting on this episode 1 with one of the most exciting comedians about at the moment. You might have seen her on TV shows like League of Their Own or Mock the Week, but she is here in Norwich with us for the first time at Norwich Playhouse. She is the brilliant Maisie Adam. Maisie, welcome to Norwich Theatre Talks. Thank you very much for joining me in our podcast corner.
Thanks for having me, and pleasure to sit next to this insane plant.
Absolutely. This is season 3, and you can see the plant is growing. This is nature, everybody.
In season 1, is it like a little...
It was, yeah, like a sapling.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
We might need to edit that into the previous episodes. Maisie, you've just started your tour. You're with us in Norwich tonight for a completely sold out show. This is like night 2 or 3.
This is only the second night. Yeah,
amazing.
It kicked off yesterday. And I was saying beforehand, before we started recording, but like I was so nervous yesterday because you sort of, it's the first night, so you have those first night sort of worries. But then I got that out of the way, and immediately my first thought was like, and then Norwich tomorrow, it's sold out. It was like the quickest selling date here in Norwich. So I've been buzzing about it. Like I know it's a real cliche of somebody to stand on stage and go, oh, I always look forward to playing here, but genuinely...
We believe you. Norwich loves Maisie. And the show's called Appraisal. Tell us a bit about that.
So I called it Appraisal. I mean, first of all, you have to come up with a show name, sort of like, well, your marketing lot will know. You all want stuff from us in like a good year in advance sometimes. So you're sort of trying to think of a show title, really, between us, like, before you've written the show. So I was sort of trying to think of a nice sounding, punchy name. And then it dawned on me, because I was like, what might this show be about? What might I be discussing? And I realised that it's my second tour, but it's I'm in my 5th year of being a full-time professional comedian.
Yeah.
In that I've not had to do any sort of part-time jobs to help support myself, and lots of other people in the creative arts will appreciate of having to sort of have several plates spinning. But 5 years since I've been able to just pay the bills from comedy. Mm-hmm. And I figured in most jobs you have a 5-year appraisal. So I thought, well, this tour is that really. It's me kind of reflecting on like, oh gosh, this is my weird and wacky job, and what a wonderful thing that is. And also, I guess, sort of an appraisal of life, where I'm at in life, of again how it's going, what I've been up to, what I'm enjoying, what I would like to improve on. So that's where the title came from.
But we'll come back to the kind of 5-year thing, because your career's been amazing. I mean, and we now see you everywhere, and it's so exciting. But like the appraisal thing, I saw the title and thought, actually, that's really interesting, because there's performance appraisals, and hopefully there's like no form filling for you tonight, and you don't get kind of like professional development points. But like with comedy, it's constant appraisal, isn't it? It's a scary old art form, I think. You know, because if people don't laugh, that's immediate.
It's a straight away response. It's sort of the best and sometimes worst thing about it. But I like it because you always know where you stand in comedy. Yeah. You always know how it's got. I've always like said when people, because I trained as an actor. Yeah. And sometimes when that gets brought up in interviews, I say like the difference and the reason why I love comedy so much, I'm so grateful I got into it, is you know immediately how you're doing. Yeah. So, for example, if you're playing Juliet in Romeo and Juliet, you don't know if you've done a great job until the end, where people might stand up and applaud.
Completely.
But you don't know. Whereas I know how the gig's going, because I can either hear a room full of people really laughing, a room full of people giggling, or silence. Like, it's very, very obvious.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
And also, like, that is the accepted form of appraisal of comedy, isn't it? It's kind of how many people laugh. Whereas in other art forms, it's like, you wait for the reviews and all the rest of it. Yeah. And it's really, really different. It's kind of, but it's that immediacy thing, isn't it? You know, that must be a bit terrifying at the same time.
It is, because...
And going from being an actor as well, where, you know...
Yeah, well, I prefer it for that reason, because I didn't ever used to like that... I was saying lines that I didn't really rate. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
okay.
Or I didn't know if I'd done it sort of correctly. I like the black and whiteness of comedy, that it's either funny or it's not. It either got a laugh or it's not. It's why I kind of think, I mean, I think reviews anyway, we need to always remember they're subjective. Like I've gone and seen a trilogy, like a trilogy of 3 plays in London recently, and I absolutely loved them. But I'm sure there'll be some people that will have gone and had different reactions. But with comedy, it is literally, did it make the room laugh? Yeah. Like, you can go, oh, it's not for me, it's not my taste, the same way you can with a playwright, but did it make the room laugh, yes or no? That's why I don't ever read reviews, because I know how the gig went. And I know, even before I've stepped off stage, how the gig's gone a lot of the time. So I love it for that reason.
Also, so much of comedy is about being in the space, isn't it? And the context.
Yeah.
And, people are too prone with comedy to go, oh, well, there was that joke and that was rubbish.
Yes.
Yeah, but actually that joke only existed with the whole setup and the technique that goes around it.
This summer just gone, I didn't go to Edinburgh, but you sort of pick up, whispers and statuses of your friends that they're posting online of how the Fringe is going. And you'd hear sort of little tales of things like that happening, of so-and-so's got this joke or so-and-so said this, and you go, right, well, I kind of need to have been in the room to know what that, because there's loads of stuff that you can say, not even just in comedy, but in if you relay what my mum said the other day or what your friend said, it might sound really awful written down, it might sound awful when you say it here, but context is definitely important. And it's also just outside of that discussion, it's a huge part of comedy because, again, to sort of compare it next to acting, it's the same show every night, but it will always be different because it is more of an interaction than, say, theatre or music, where it's I'm performing and you listening. A lot of comedy is interactional. It's, audience participation if you're in crowd work. So the stuff that I'll have done in Reading last night, I can't say tonight. No. It won't work. No. I'd absolutely die a death. Yeah. But what makes it so exciting is I get to make it sort of bespoke to Norwich tonight.
You play the room, don't you? You totally
play, and again, that's the context. Yeah. Is that room. So there's something that I'll say today that, will work in Norwich and be funny in Norwich that I won't be able to say tomorrow in whatever it is I am.
And you mentioned that Edinburgh context. Let's talk a bit about that, because you've spoken about Edinburgh before, and I go to Edinburgh every year because I work in the theatre. I see comedians there and I kind of think, but you are playing to that context, and that is a very particular context, isn't it? Yeah. And a very difficult context for artists.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange sort of bubble, pressure cooker environment, in that even if you try and stay out of it and, not do all the
drinking late at night,
networking, which I try to do, is stay out of it. But even then, walking from the flat to your venue, you're walking past blooming 6-foot posters of colleagues with 4 5-star reviews blasted across, sell-out runs. Then you check your phone and it's the same stuff. So it's a constant month of comparing yourselves and pitting each other against each other, which I don't think is particularly healthy. And even if that's me saying, a lot of these people are my friends, you're happy for them that they've got 4 or 5 stars, but it's still, as somebody who's trying to be the best artist they can, you're looking at it going, oh god, has that reviewer been to see me yet? I don't think I've got that review blasted across me. So it's difficult for that sense. I also think what you say about the audience is really specific as well, in that you're not really performing to a real cross-section of the UK.
No.
You are performing to people who can afford to go to this arts festival in the summer holidays. Yeah. So realistically, who is picking to go up to Edinburgh over a week in Lanzarote?
Do you know what I mean? Which is arguably cheaper at that period of time.
It will be cheaper. Yeah. So and then you're going to have to stay there because it's never... nobody from Edinburgh seems to like going to the Fringe.
Well, they all go and Airbnb, don't they?
Exactly. So it's all these people that can afford to go on holiday to Edinburgh in the summer, stay, pay those prices. And it's sort of this weird toxic circle, because we, the artists, rely on those people coming, but they're not a real representation of found it weirdly nice going on tour, having not done Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Whereas my first tour, it was nice because I was going on tour going, well, I've already done this show 30 times in a row. It's in my head, sure. But I remember it really feeling quite noticeably, the pace was so much different to performing to different cities every night that had their own kind of cultures and identities, economies, like diversities, and it's not what Edinburgh is.
That's it.
It's within the Fringe.
Absolutely.
Edinburgh as a city, of course, is all of those things, but Edinburgh in the Fringe is, it's just performing to a lot of people who, you know, listen to Radio 4.
Yeah.
Which is lovely, but it's not real.
Absolutely. And I think I kind of hope, and I feel this quite strongly within the industry, we stop obsessing with it. It's a really nice thing, but it is not the be all and end all. And I think programmers can get really, really lazy, actually, and promoters can get really lazy and just put all their eggs there. Whereas there's amazing work going on elsewhere around the country as well, not just in London, but actually, you know, thriving scenes in cities around the country. And
I think if you want to see the best upcoming talent, which I think is what the Fringe used to be the hub for, I think if you want to see that now, you need to go to any thriving comedy club outside of London. Yeah. Because it's phenomenal and that's where people are cutting their teeth. And it's interesting you mentioned that, actually. I was chatting with Beck, my tour manager, about this. I'll probably regret saying it because I think it was meant in a nice way. But in my family WhatsApp groups, they're very, very supportive. But sometimes it means that they will just post a picture of a review that they've seen in a magazine.
Oh, okay.
Going, nice one, Maze. And it's like, I really don't want to read that, even if it is nice.
Yeah.
But there was something that was put in the other day. And it wasn't a review, it was just advertising that I'm on tour. And it was in a paper that a lot of people who go to the Edinburgh Fringe would read. Yeah. And this person said, only the biggest comedians can get away with doing a show that doesn't have an overarching theme. So it's telling of Maisie Adam's brink of stardom or whatever, that she's bold enough to go and do this. And I thought immediately, I know that you're trying to say something nice there, but it's so telling that you have got all your comedy from going to the Edinburgh Fringe and seeing hour-long shows that have a 40-minute, quite dark, traumatic moment or an overarching theme about something quite big and heavy. We sort of saw it post Nanette. I think there was a lot of people, and there were fantastic shows, don't get me wrong, but that's not the only type of comedy that exists. There is somewhere in between those long shows that have a big, deep, meaningful theme, arch, narrative, and one-liners. I'm somewhere in between that. I write shows that I hope make people laugh for over an hour. That is all I've promised to do. And that is all I would want to go and see when I was growing up and going to see comedians. I wanted to laugh for an hour, especially with everything now, with the cost of living crisis. I wouldn't want to go out and listen to...
And that I mean, there's a lot in that, isn't there? And I think, those kind of critiques, that kind of journalistic writing, is so much about putting people in boxes, isn't it? So you're on the brink. Thanks.
But it's sort of it's sort of made out that I either thought I was, Billy Big Bollocks, sort of trying to make out like can I not say that word? I'll go a different one. But it sort of made out like I was trying to be the big man, I'm as big as these people who don't have overarching themes. That's not the case. But also, it made me go, but that's not true, that statement that only the big ones can get away with it. Go to literally any comedy club in the UK and watch the lineup shows. Nobody is getting on and doing a set with an overarching theme. It's gags. Write gags, make people laugh. That is the start and end point of what my job is.
Exactly. Exactly. That is the other thing about Edinburgh. It's become that microcosm for issue-based stuff.
And it's great. And people, there's an appetite for it the same way there's an appetite for one-liners. But it's not the be-all and end-all. And I think it's lazy journalism to imply that it's lazy comedy, to not write an hour-long show with a narrative or an arc or a theme or a...
Yeah.
You know, it's jokes at the end of the day. The whole reason I've decided to pursue this as a career is because it's silly and it's jokes, and there's no format to it, there's no recipe.
And also,
it's just making people laugh, whatever that be.
Exactly, and that's about kind of human connection, isn't it? Which is what comedy kind of gives you. There's, it's amazing sitting there and being prompted to laugh by the person who's doing amazing stuff on the stage, but the person next to you's having a great time as well.
That's it.
That collective thing.
I think the best thing you can see when you are performing is people doing that little nudge.
Yeah.
Going, that's you, you do that. And I love that.
But I don't know if you're like me, but I see quite a lot of comedy. You come in that moment, and then at the end of the show, you go, it's really funny. What did they say?
Yeah, you can't remember anything. Oh, God. I remember my mum and dad taking me to see Lee Mack for my 14th birthday, and we were howling, and then on the car journey home, like, we were all trying to get... What was that bit about? And it was like... It's like we were in an old people's home. Like, none of us could string one 5-minute bit that he did together. But that, again, is just testament to how comedy can really get you in the moment, hanging on your words, and then it moves on to something else.
Totally.
And I kind of like that it's not one story about, me trying to sort of get the approval of my father or something. It's instead, I've got a joke about dogs, and I've got a joke about plants, and then I've got a joke about I don't know, New Zealand.
I always remember a really funny quote from, I think it was Victoria Woods, who was an amazing writer. She said that in her experience, comedians fell into two camps: either the deeply melancholic or those that are into golf. Which one are you, Maisie Adam? Which one are you?
I guess I'd have to be the golf one.
Well, you did soccer aid, didn't
I think,
you?
yes.
That's the kind of modern day golf now.
Yeah. I recently did some golf for League of Their Own, and it was so long.
Really?
So long. I'm so impatient. I finally do one hole, and then it's like, what? Sorry, there's like 9 more or whatever. I think that's only a half one, isn't it? It's just very long, and it's not. I mean, I'm going to get loads of comments now, but it's not a sport, is it? It's not a sport.
The knitwear is coming back in.
The knitwear's lovely,
you could do something with
but at no point was I ever out of breath. No. Do you know what I mean? You're whacking a ball, and then you're getting a buggy to go to where you hit the ball.
And somebody carries your bag for you if you're that posh as well.
Yeah. I'm not melancholy, but I don't think I'm posh enough for golf.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll sit.
I'll float in the middle.
We'll float you in the middle.
Yeah.
It's been so good to talk to you, Maisie. I could talk to you for ages. This is Norwich Theatre Talks, and we've introduced a new thing. I've got some random question selection.
Oh, God,
it's all about talking, right?
Great.
So,
love it.
Pick one of my questions. Okay. What have you got?
Imagine you could talk to animals. Which animal would you want to have a conversation with first, and why?
Okay. The most random podcast question you've ever been asked?
Yeah. No, but this is good. I'm suddenly thinking of like the tigers in Tiger King. I want to ask them, do they think Carol Baskin killed her husband?
Yeah.
I'd like to ask, I think I'd like to speak to I'm thinking of all the famous animals.
Like Winnie the Pooh and stuff.
No, like the real one. Like I want to speak to the whale from Free Willy. Okay. Do you know what I mean? And be like, did you do that last scene in one take?
What would your fee?
Yeah, what was your fee for Free Willy? Yeah. Do you ever get in your head about seeing other whales and think I'm not getting those films? I'd like to see
whale envy.
I'd like to see if my experience is experienced in the animal kingdom. Do you know what I mean?
I love that.
Yeah.
You'll commune with the animals.
Yeah, I'd speak to Mufasa from Lion King and say, were you annoyed when you realised you were killed off a third of the way through the film?
Did you want the sequel?
Did you want the sequel? Yeah.
I love it.
Sorry if that's a spoiler. Anyone who's not seen The Lion King.
Oh, amazing. It's been brilliant to talk to you. You're out on tour now for quite a few more weeks.
Oh, my word. So after today, 2 down, 38 to go. Amazing. And then there's going to be another leg in the new year. So, but I can't wait.
Oh, well, have a great show with us in Norwich tonight.
Thank you
for joining us on Norwich Theatre Talks.
Thanks. Cheers.
Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed my chat with Maisie as much as I did. We're trying to bring you variety through Norwich Theatre Talks, so next episode will be all about the drama. We are bringing the drama, And we're going to meet Michael Maloney, who will be in Norwich playing Hercule Poirot in the new production of Murder on the Orient Express. A really exciting new development for Season 3 of Norwich Theatre Talks is our partnership with Future Radio. We are launching a brand new radio show that will air on a monthly basis called Stage Door, where you'll be able to listen again to this interview and lots more about what's going on with us here at Norwich Theatre. In the meantime, I'll see you here next time.